Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the TOLO podcast. I am so excited today. I believe this is episode 14.
Sheesh.
And I'm just really excited. So, anyway, we are going to jump right into today's episode. And so, my intro is hello, here we are. This is Tim and Lindsay, and we are here in person coming to you from our car. So, today's conversation I'm really excited about. I'm excited because there was a trend going around for a while, and that sun, I love it, is bright, and that is not going to help. So this is my car, and well, it's Tim's car, but the one I drive the most. So my sunglasses are in here. Today's conversation, I'm excited, our topic, because it was something that was trending on social media actually about a year ago.
Okay.
And people were going to coffee shops. They were like sitting with their younger self. And it was like this trend of like what you would tell your younger self. And so I love it because we are the young adult pastors. Not that it needs to be a title. We deal with young adults on a daily basis outside of our 4 children that we brought into this world. And we love getting to do life with these young adults. We love getting to know them and walk with them and just continue to help lead and be a soundboard, and sometimes even get to be the ones that speak into their lives. And so there are a lot of times where I sit with these young adults. I don't know for you how it feels like with the boys, but when I sit with them, I'm like, oh, this is what Lindsay would tell 20-year-old Lindsay.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so I think there's just so many moments where that happens in real life that I'm like, no, let's like sit in that topic.
Oh.
So
I like it.
So and I love it too because, you know, well, I mean, we basically can go from 11 all the way up. Tim and Lindsay have spent time together, and a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So, you know, giving 18, 19, 20-year-old Lindsay and Tim advice, I mean, we also were in each other's life at the time too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. So yeah, today's topic is what...
Maybe our advice would be not to be with me.
Oh, that was terrible. That would not be my advice. Okay, so we're gonna do, what would you tell? And let's do 20-year-old Tim. So 20-year-old Tim and Lindsay, let's go back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's go back 14 years. Wow. 20-year-old Tim and Lindsay are getting married, or are married, actually are married, have a baby, depending on what part of that year you want to talk about.
Yep. This is what we're prepping for, and like walking into it, so and it counts.
Yeah, you're working a ton. I'm staying home at this point.
Yeah.
We were the only ones of our quote unquote friends that were married and had kids.
Yep.
Or had a kid. We weren't partying, drinking, doing all those things. I wasn't.
Yeah. I was thinking, was I still on probation? I think I was.
Yes, you were. And because you were 19 when you got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's 19 or 20-year-old Tim and Lindsay. So I want you to start of, what in hindsight would you say to 20-year-old Tim?
I think I would tell myself that I'm strong enough to handle what's coming, but I would have really focused in on the intentionality part. I would have really focused in on dealing with my pride, because my pride was kind of subtle, and I was very good at disguising it, and I was very good at thinking I was right, which I mean, that's the definition almost right. I mean, so like, I don't know, if I could have really, really understood the grasp of how to love you selflessly and understand that it's the small daily disciplines that build the life you actually want versus if I could just get there.
Okay.
I had such an outward focus. I had such a longing to like think that I was working hard and like sacrificing all this stuff for us when it was like there was no intentionality behind that. That was just like, yeah, I can work hard.
Yeah.
And I still really want to do what I want to do. I really didn't want to give up the things that I thought brought fulfillment when, they didn't at all.
Yeah.
So learning to be present in moments is something I would have told myself. But I think, like I started, like, no, you're going to be strong enough. So that there were obviously good qualities that would carry us through that I wouldn't want to shy away from.
Yeah.
Because I think that was how I secretly was trying to prove myself, not just to you, but to your family, my own family, that, no, we can do this.
Right.
And yeah, I would have really, really reminded, I would share the goodness of who God is and the realness of who God is. Because you got to remember, up until that point, like, yeah, I knew God, but all with the mentality of like, I know God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like I knew Him in my heart, and yeah, I was going through that transforming time where I would see glimpses. I knew that wasn't my life anymore.
Right.
And I'm glad I had the mentality to know, like, no, my life is now over, and this is all for Bentley.
Yeah.
But again, I just think there was no intentionality. I found validation in the words of saying that and thinking, I don't get to go party, I get to go to work. That was enough, right?
Right.
And so, I would have really pushed myself to seek out mentorship and have somebody in my life that first could break vulnerability, because I was never willing to share the depths of my heart.
Yeah.
And even to you, like, really getting to work through the things that I harbored, and that, happy-go-lucky Tim was just like out of sight, out of mind. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm strong enough to just go through it.
Right.
I would have definitely said those things to 20-year-old Tim.
Yeah. Okay. So 20-year-old Tim, you're gonna be intentional, find a mentor, be vulnerable, that you can be vulnerable with, and just really recognize who God is.
Yeah, I would have really begun to seek God with all my heart.
Yeah.
I would have lived out what I'm living out now, which is Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom and His righteousness, and all would be added.
Yeah. Right. Wow, that's amazing. I love it because, now you're talking about accelerating. If 20-year-old Tim does those things, if 20-year-old Tim had a mentor, like a true mentor, you're talking about things that get accelerated.
Yeah.
That only God could do. And I'm talking like a biblical covering, and like a spiritual covering.
I guess I would clarify that, because like Joe, Paul, and Tim were that in my work life, and making sure that I was becoming a good man. And even like they didn't avoid the spiritual things, I just wasn't ready for that type of intentionality.
And it wasn't the depths of it.
Yeah. And so like, even part of that is, I like how you put the vulnerability part first, because like, like you could be surrounded by good people all day long. And until you're willing to get vulnerable, humble yourself. That's why I talked about pride. Like, I think I just didn't think anything was wrong with me. Like, oh no, I can figure this out. Like,
right.
So that part really needed to be dealt with off the bat. Before.
Oh man.
I think things would have been
okay.
Really able to, like you said, accelerate. And, because I would have understood what it means to be rooted. And not that I was loyal. Like, I think I'm loyal to the core.
Yeah.
But because I lacked that intentionality, I always wanted to have somebody to blame. And so that's why, like, I could blame it on money. Okay, I don't make enough, so let's go get a different job. And when you think what you're doing right seems to be working, as far as I was being elevated, I was given leadership roles, I was always, like, admired in the way that I was. So then it was really hard to, like, I guess, see what was lacking, because again, in my mind, I thought I was doing those things.
Right, because the world's success was in your hands at that point.
And I think because I leaned so much on you. So, like, your intentionality and your ability to think for me, put me in situations, do all the background work, and all I had to do was show up, whether that was being a father, a husband. Like, I never took you out. It was only you that would, hey, can we go out? Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, like, okay. Like, that wasn't on the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
And so I think because I was just, like, essentially given everything, it was slowly really just, like, making me numb, which I was already kind of numb to things like that, but it really amplified it. And I think looking back, it was a real trick to, like, keep me stuck.
Yeah.
Keep me away from what I was truly called to do, and the man that I was really meant to be.
Right.
Oh, dang it.
Right into it.
I thought this road was going to go a little bit more. I can turn here. So I think pride. I would have really dealt with my prideful self. And
right, because 20-year-old, especially a 20-year-old boy, but I think in today's society, 20-year-olds in general are dealing with having to prove, are dealing with pride. Let's just call it for what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's pride. I got to prove myself, and, like, I want to be an adult, and, like, I'm going to go get a job, and I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to get married, like, all these things. And it's like, it doesn't matter what avenue you pick. And it's like, I'm showing the world what I can do. And it's like, I'm leaving a mark on the world. And it's like, okay, well, whoa. That is so self-centered and so far from what God has for us, that we've got to come back to the core being of, okay, I'm not stamping this world, the Lord is.
Right.
And I want to leave Jesus, because nobody's going to remember me after I'm gone.
Well, I think, like I was talking about earlier, right? For me, you get this sense of, like, you got to be like some trailblazer and, like, pave your own path and, like, do something nobody's ever done before.
Right.
And that's, I guess, the pride I'm talking about is, like, wanting to prove myself in silence when, like, you're just suffering in silence.
Yeah.
Like, ain't even nobody even really paying attention to you.
Right.
But, like, you think, like, oh, all eyes are on me, and if I could just break this generational curse, and I could overcome this, and
like, everybody's gonna be there being like, yes, you did it, now tell us how to do it.
Exactly.
Like, that's not what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, right, like, most of my family worked at Boeing, and so that was, like, the good job. Oh, just get a job at Boeing.
Yeah.
And I loved it, thank you. Like, I tried, but, like, again, I was trying to be like, oh, that's not meant for me. And whether it was or wasn't, again, at the end of the day, it was the path I chose.
Right.
But that was feeding it too, right? Because then I know what I would have this kind of, like, attachment that, like, oh, I got to do it this way.
Yeah.
And so, I think I would start trying to prove, like, I don't need your way. I can do it my way.
Right. And I think that's another thing that in today's society, so many people are like, I want to do it my way. And it's like, parents are just allowing their kids to do it their way because it's like, it's easier than trying to force their way.
Right.
And I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying I think that is when we deal with these young adults, it's like, they think that they're going to reinvent the wheel. They think that they've got the newest, best, greatest idea. Someone's done it. I guarantee it. I mean, I know Pastor Shane has even told us that.
Nothing new under the sun.
Told us that in ministry, and it's like, no, it is the truth. Like, I mean, and I do believe God can give us new things, but, you know, ultimately everything is Christ-centered that we're walking in. And
Well, it's a real paradox, I think, to think I can tell you till I'm blue in the face how to do things or how I would now that based off my experience. Yet kind of the bottom line is like until you figure it out on your own and it means enough to you,
right,
I got to kind of let you do what you're going to choose to do.
right.
And that's where I really end up, right? Like Pastor Shane's told us this, right? Like at the end of the day, I don't have the ability to change you.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to walk with you. And yeah, if you will really partner with me on the things that I'm trying to give you, I think your life could be a million times better.
Right.
But you're going to need at some point in your life your own experience and understand how God speaks to you. So it's
and I think that's where mentorship comes in, right? Is like mentors pave the way to say, yeah, my ceiling is your floor. Like I've done all these things, so just know that like I'm not saying you can't do it, but like learn from it's that classic saying like learn from my mistakes or do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
And then from there, like also knowing that when you do the opposite and you do just decide and think you can do it on your own, you have a safe space with your mentor to like admit it or walk through those things together. And then also come back to the drawing board and be like, okay, so yeah, you're right. Like I'm humble enough to say you're right, but like here is what I learned, here is what I walked through, here is, you know, the growth that happened. And then that's where I think God's like, yes, now we're partnering. Like everything should be a partnering, because ultimately we're partnering with God to do things here on earth. So why would that not be replicated in everything else that we do?
I think a big part of maturing, right, is honoring. Because like we're actually walking that, as you're saying, right, with Pastor Shane, of like, Pastor Shane could really easily tell us like, okay, this is what you do for young adult ministry. I've done this. Yet no, like I think he understands that, hey, I'm going to give you some space to grow and learn and make your own mistakes, but I'm right here.
Right.
And then from there, it's up to us of like, how much do we want to honor? So yeah, I don't want to be too prideful when I don't know how to do something. To then go to him and say, hey, I don't need you to tell me how to do it, but like, yeah, give me some insight, give me some experience, give me some feedback of what I can grow in. What were the better parts of my leadership last year and how can I improve to get better? Because he's the one watching from a 30,000 foot view versus me, I'm in it. So you get kind of tunnel visioned.
Right.
And it's what we're teaching Bentley in sports, right? Hey, when I yell at you from the sidelines, I'm not yelling at you.
Right.
But I have a different vantage point. And if you'll take my wisdom, I can show you. It's why a coach puts you in the right position. Because they can see you playing. You can't see yourself playing.
Right.
You can't see where that defender is behind you. You don't have eyes in the back of your head.
Right.
So yeah, honoring your mentor to know that this isn't harsh instruction. This is just like pure wisdom and love to course correct. Huge.
Right. Right. That is huge.
So what about Lindsay? What are you going to say to 20-year-old Lindsay?
20-year-old Lindsay, what am I telling 20-year-old Lindsay if I am sitting at a table having coffee with 20-year-old Lindsay?
Fresh mom.
Yeah.
Who was a trooper, by the way.
I'm telling 20-year-old Lindsay to
hold on.
to hold on.
You're alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm telling 34-year-old Lindsay too. No, what I'm telling 20-year-old Lindsay is there's so many things that is like coming to my mind, but I want that first thing to just be the thing. I'm telling 20-year-old Lindsay that time is everything. That every moment matters, but don't put every moment mattering as the weight.
Explain that.
Explain that.
Deep.
Okay, it's being so present and intentional with the moment that you're in, that you see God, you see people, you see their hurts, you see their desires, you see their longings, you see the good things that are happening, and and you're so willing to just continually have the goodness of God on your lips to encourage and edify and illuminate goodness, bring things to remembrance, and be full of joy because your eyes are fixed on the right things. Yet not continuing to make the moments so weighty that you're searching for these things, yet missing the very moment you're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think there are times where you can be in a moment. I think we all can think of that moment of like, oh, I've been in a moment, and when I was out of it, I remember being like, dang, I missed it. And like I knew there was intentionality in it, and there was like some weight to this moment. Like I felt like it was like a moment of a lifetime. And then you get the moment again, and you're like searching for that same feeling you had in the last moment. And it's like, no, it's new, yet it's familiar.
Okay.
I think that stems
That's
from
good.
I think that stems from, you know, obviously knowing that 20-year-old Lindsay in 4 years loses her mom. In one, not even, 20-year-old Lindsay within 6 months, well, within 9 months, completely re-identifies herself based on what another person outwardly wanted it to look like for her. So I think I would tell 20-year-old Lindsay, you knew who your, okay, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be so bold to say you knew, but like, you very easily could have found a rooted Christian woman to mentor you and help you, but you so badly were longing for them to find you. And so instead I let and allowed other people put their hands on me. And I'm talking about that in a sense of, because obviously we already know that Lindsay's crazy and things odd. But like, you know, if we're clay and we're being shaped and molded, we're shaped and molded. I hate when people say, oh, we're being shaped and molded by culture. Like, I get what they're saying. It still rubs me wrong, because I'm like, no, we are shaped and molded by God. And everything else we are allowing to shape and mold us. So again, it goes back to that intentionality, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, just knowing that, like, needing to be approved by others so that you could always have what you desired was not something I needed to pick up, and the shame I needed to pick up, and the guilt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But just knowing that, like, whole and complete and healthy Lindsay is more than enough for Tim. Is more than enough for God. And more than enough for, 20-year-old Lindsay has Bentley, so there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, time and whose hands are on me mattered. Being aware of that.
Yeah.
And then 20-year-old Lindsay.
Is there anything,
to be kinder to myself.
Is there anything that, like, because obviously 20-year-old Lindsay didn't know how to recognize the wrong people.
Yeah.
What?
I think 20-year-old Lindsay could. When I'm looking back.
Okay, well then let's just speak to the listener who is in that situation but maybe doesn't feel as confident.
Okay.
How do you know? What are the things that you would tell 20-year-old Lindsay to look for, and like, here's where to stand firm and do not waver?
Okay, so 20-year-old Lindsay picked a person who gave her access, because really, we're not going to go into that. 20-year-old Lindsay picked a person, and this person picked 20-year-old Lindsay, I guess, because I think deep down this person like thought they could help show me how to be a mom. They were a step ahead of me. There were some forced similarities, but I mean, ultimately, I really don't think that there was similarities there, and was not at all what I would say a woman of God who can lead the next generation down from her could. So she was not rooted. She wasn't in her word. She wasn't even in church. Especially when I started seeing the double standard living, that started driving me really nuts, because I think I wanted to turn a blind eye of like, well, God can use anyone, and it's okay that she doesn't go to church. I'll make up for that on my own, when in all reality, like, I wasn't going to. Because 20-year-old Lindsay was also really hurt by the church, by people. It wasn't the church. It actually was a singular person that I just put as a whole group of people. So if you want to come at me with church hurt, we can have that conversation, because I feel like I labeled it as that. I was hurt in a church by a person.
Right.
And that took a long time to get over. So I'd probably also, that would be another thing I would tell. I know that's not answering your question fully. I'm coming back to that. Like, don't be hurt by people in the church. They're people. They're broken. And eventually you'll see that.
Right.
And more broken than you really were. Unfortunately, and it's sad.
That's good.
But yeah, I think telling the listener who's looking for that mentor and desiring but not knowing how to find it, is that what am I answering?
Yeah, I mean, you were saying about people that I was just saying how would you recognize it?
So obviously know what your values are. So like, what are you looking to gain? Because whoever you're around, you will become like in some form and fashion. And so what you're going to glean from these people, you're going to glean the good, but you better be really willing to also glean some of the bad. Because that can happen if the person isn't operating in full like healing that they have. And so, and especially if they're not in a relationship with the Lord that is intentional and intimate to them, and that's the forefront of where they're coming from with you, I'm saying run. I mean, that's my honest opinion. And instead, I just thought, oh, well, it won't be a big deal. I was looking at a step ahead of me. That's a great thing. Okay. She had kids. She had a marriage that was flourishing. They had a business, you know, they had the house. Like, materialistic wise, we glean, like, that's what I saw. And therefore, I feel like that was also kind of the curse I lived under, was then that's what I was always competing with you. And so the other thing is I settled because I think there was, I know there was someone connected, I'm going to do this, to her, that I also had connections with, but I felt like 20-year-old Lindsay wasn't good enough for her. And because 20-year-old Lindsay wasn't good enough for her, and she was more rooted in her faith, she was willing to walk through the hard things. She had a very similar story. Sure, she didn't have the picture perfect life that, you know, would have been on a magazine, but I think 20-year-old Lindsay longed for that in her and could have connected with that in her. This other young woman, and she was a step ahead of me also. Yet I was too afraid because I thought she'd reject me. And so not being afraid of the rejection also, I think, would be a big thing. Is like, if there's parallels, they're a step ahead, they're rooted in their faith, you see the fruit on their life. There's even some, you know, maybe they're like, her and I had some common things, like we like to work out, and, you know, we ate healthy but also would enjoy ice cream, like, you know, church, like, Bentley and one of her sons ended up like, she had just had a baby too. I think they're technically, oh goodness, are they like 6 months apart, I think? And so, but she had older kids as well, like older than Bentley as well. And so, yeah, her husband had a career, but a stable career that he still has. Like, you know, it's just, I think that would have been a better choice for Lindsay, but it meant me getting outside of my comfort zone to be very vulnerable and like, don't reject me. Where this other person that I like, okay, outwardly looks great, looks perfect, fine, dandy, like, I just made her look better. So it has to be they're helping you, and it's not for their gain. Like your mentor.
Okay.
Because I think about my mentor right now, like
Yeah.
Marisha, right? Like.
But would you also say like not compromising who you?
Yes.
Almost like are.
Yes, 100%.
Right, because like if we're gonna talk about molding and shaping,
mm-hmm.
I believe a true mentor has to see you in your wholeness.
Yes.
And then, so I love the saying, right, when they say like, if you're gonna carve an eagle out of a tree, how do you do it? Well, you just chip off the parts that aren't of an eagle.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So like you know who they are.
Yeah.
Now you're just chipping away the things that aren't them.
Yeah.
Versus like, I think, yeah, the main one was trying to make you into something you're not.
Yes.
You need to look like this. Like
Yes.
they're trying to conform you.
Yes.
Versus this inward transformation of like, no, I see who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Now we just got to get the immaturity off and the things that in the moment you're not realizing.
And I think too, when you find your mentor is going to have a moment, they're going to have a flaw, they're going to have a moment, they're going to have, I mean, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
And I think when you find that out and it's a conversation, or maybe it's not a conversation, maybe you find it out and like you kind of like nicely bring it up, or however that might look like. I remember in my situation, there were things that started coming up and I would like bring them up and like somehow it got twisted. It was like my fault and it had nothing to do with me. And so then there was like this lack of trust.
Yeah.
And on both sides. And so I think that then was like, if you're my mentor and I'm holding you to this standard, then like, why can't you give me an answer about this? And they weren't even like hard things really. And so I think as a mentor, like when you're finding those people, they've got to be people who have humility. If they're super full of pride, then just know that's what you're going to end up reaping.
Yeah.
Is pride. Because they're going to teach you how to operate in that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah, and basically if they're not enough to themselves, it's the idea of like how you're going to pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, I think of times that I have, and with Hannah, right? Like this week, I had to apologize because I was like, this is not how a leader operates. Like, I said something in a moment that was totally just like, and it wasn't anything crazy, but it just was like, it didn't set well with me at the end, and like, I apologized to her and she was like, it's really not that big of a deal, and like could almost justify why I could have said it. And I'm like, no, Hannah, I need you to like see for a moment, I'm talking from a different place. Like, yeah, you're right, I can justify everything I just said. Like, factually, there's no reason why I couldn't have said that.
Right.
But here's the bottom line. This isn't how a leader operates. And that, like, it just didn't set well with me. So, like, no, I'm sorry. And I shouldn't have spoken like that. And now, if I do it again, I do expect you to say something like, Lindsay, that's the person you don't want to be.
Yeah.
You get to hold me accountable. Just because I'm your mentor doesn't mean that I'm, like, God Almighty.
Right.
And I'm immune to a mess up.
Right.
I mean, I am still human.
Yeah. Well, that's a good leader, right? Yeah, like you're saying, is like, I'm not asking you to do something I'm unwilling to do.
Right. Right.
Because then, yeah, we're just being hypocritical.
Right.
Oh, you do this, but if I do it, justify.
And I think, too, if they're trying to make you look like them intentionally, we've got a problem.
Parents.
Like, so I really lost who I was because I was, like, body shaming myself. I had to like dress a certain way. I had to earn approval by how I looked, and it was like,
I think it was affecting us
yeah,
because I was agreeing.
yeah,
So like, yeah, if you don't feel enough to me, and then they're affirming that, then you're really gonna be like, okay, so like, maybe there is something wrong with me.
Right. And I just had a baby, and I was 20.
Right.
Like, I didn't look that awful.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
And so, yeah, those are the things I would look for. I also think there's nothing wrong with, I know when I meet with some of our young adults, obviously the girls, like, I may not be your person. I may not be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, it's the truth, you know, like, sure, Jesus had 12, but like, how many others followed him that we don't actually know about?
Yeah.
But they weren't that close to him, right? They were at a distance. They watched how he walked, how he talked. They had interactions, but not enough that were like intimate and close in proximity. And then even in the 12, he had 3. And even in the 3, he had 1. So it's like taking that model and not just like, I don't think as pastors you should just cling to one, but I think just learning who those 3, the 12, the 1, like, I do think those numbers are significant in the sense of like, you're gonna have seasons of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, thinking that you're gonna disciple
the nations.
Yeah, like that's not even like how Jesus did it anyway. So like, if he's our perfect model, why do we think we can like outdo Jesus? That's just insane to me. So I think like when you're finding a mentor, asking questions that are hard and difficult, and like, yeah, even confronting like, what is something you struggle with, or what is something that you've overcame recently? What is something, you know, that, what is a lack for you, or whatever, like a mindset or whatever, to kind of give yourself a better idea of like, yeah, who you're going to be, in a sense, marrying, because they're in the physical. Now, ultimately, they should be pointing you back to Jesus.
Right.
So you should be marrying Jesus, but you end up, I mean, it's just like our goal is to always look and sound like Jesus, but because we're in close proximity to Pastor Shane, we're probably going to look and sound like him.
Right.
You know, it's like when you wear your bomber jacket, I always have to laugh because I'm like, your cute little bomber jackets, Pastor Shane wears those. And not because you're trying to copy him, you know, people wear those all the time. But I did have to laugh when he bought me one for my birthday, because I was like, oh, this is hilarious. But anyway, just silly things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, just like having the boldness to find who you do think it is. Obviously pray about it. I mean, but have boldness. And yeah, maybe you have to go through 3 or 4 people to like find the one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I had to do that.
Well, I like how you brought that point up, because I've noticed with some of the guys, like that even becomes an issue on the flip side of. I want to speak to some, like, yeah, when you follow somebody that close, you are going to look like them, and that doesn't mean you're worshiping them.
No.
So I tell them all the time, like, if I'm following well,
yeah, this is good,
Jesus, then yeah, you should look like me. You should at least take the parts that, like you said, point to Jesus, that model Jesus, and kind of imitate those, you know?
Yeah.
Because when we lock eyes with him and when we're in his presence, it's going to push you to your realness, not draw you to me.
Right.
Now, the moment they focus on me and they want to take it over the top and, yeah, borderline worship me, yeah, like,
now we got a problem.
I'm gonna say something.
Right.
But I believe if we really were to go back and look at the life of the disciples, yeah, they're gonna talk, walk like Jesus. I mean, how can you spend that much time with somebody and not?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just know, I think in your immaturity, as you're maturing with your mentor, things are gonna look like them for a season, but you're developing who you are.
Yeah.
I think a great leader always brings out the best in you.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Just kind of be free from that of like, no, that's not a bad thing. Unless you know in your heart that you're trying to worship him, then we have a problem.
Yeah, then we have a problem for sure. Yeah. And if they're making it about that too, then we have a problem.
Yes.
And run.
And you'll start to see the fruit produced, right? I mean, I take evaluations all the time. Like, yeah, if I'm walking with this person for this amount of time and they're still struggling here or still doing this, then yeah, something is not aligned.
Right.
And we need to reevaluate. And I like how you said too, like a good mentor should take some steps to understand maybe we're not the best fit. Maybe I don't have the qualities that you need to, you know, because there is, I think, a spirits attract spirits type thing where it feels natural. You're going to naturally want to go to your comfort.
Yeah.
And that's another hard thing that I had to learn, but it's getting off topic. So
no, you're good.
Reel it back in, but I just wanted to speak to that real quick because you said it and it was powerful.
Okay. Powerful. Huh?
Powerful. Free somebody.
Yeah. I think too, when you're sitting with 20-year-old you, and I love it because our young adults are listening to this probably just like, okay, well, I'm 20, Lindsay, Tim, you know? And it's like, yeah, I get that. But I think the biggest thing is just realizing that life is such a gift. And when we are rooted in gratefulness and in gratefulness instead of circumstances, that's when joy comes. And that's when you come and you face the sorrows of life, the hard things of life, the circumstances don't change who you are, and the circumstances don't tear you down. If anything, they build you up and build you out of them.
Yeah.
And then you have so much more to be grateful for. And so from there, just realizing that all you're doing is strengthening your gratefulness for life. And you're making that contagious. And then from there, you're watching a world change and your life be impactful. Because I think about all the things, 20-year-old Lindsay gets hurt by a person, leaves the church. That ruined our wedding. That ruined me not wanting to take our kids to church. That ruined my relationship. And okay, I shouldn't say ruined, but like definitely put a damper on my relationship with a lot of people in that church, mainly family members, who would be like, no, come to church. Like, we want to see you. Like, and I have a big family, and then later tainted my view and what could have been what was perceived by our pastor who had left right before all this had happened. So he had nothing to do with any of this, but he had literally, it was like week 1 of him leaving, this happens. And he even like picked up some like guilt years later, bringing it to our attention. And it was like, oh my goodness, that all could have been avoided. Not all of it, but like there would have been a lot of it, because then Lindsay wouldn't have disconnected herself. So then Lindsay's still close to Carmen. So then you're talking about a very different story. But our relationship had shifted due to me being hurt and operating out of hurt. Which is silly, Cool. And then you're talking about, then years later, you're working 7 days a week, and I'm just like totally okay with that. Like, no. So allowing one person to change literally how you felt in a moment, to change a literal hardwire in your entire system, to make that a solidified truth that we walked out for 8 years. Well, okay, that might be 6 years. I mean, it was 6 years.
Yeah.
Billy was 6.
Yeah.
By the time we like are actually in church again.
Yeah. That is a while.
So, I mean, that's just
a lot of time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But think about how many people get stuck in a moment, and that changes their entire life and how they think and how they feel. And from there, it's like the gospel truth. It's gold. It is the 10 Commandments. It is the law. And it's like, wait, you just were in a moment of like, no. When we're rooted in gratitude, you from there, what can look like pride that I don't think is pride, correct me if I'm wrong, but in that moment, if 20-year-old Lindsay could have seen, oh, bro, you're hurt. You're trying to justify yourself coming in here. You're just picking on someone because you know behind closed doors, you got stuff.
Yeah.
And you're pointing out my stuff because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, time out, wait a minute. I can be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Now, 20-year-old
Well, I think like
Lindsay
even
wasn't mature enough to do that. But when you put good people around you, they do help you do that.
Yeah. Well, I think hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just because maybe I want to like clarify. I don't think you're saying this right. It almost in a point wasn't this person's fault either.
No.
Because they didn't have anybody.
Right.
So they were, here they came through stuff, had all of their stuff, and then through that convinced themselves, like, oh, I'm fine. And then, I think, in fact, I'm so good, I could help somebody else. And again, not healed, not walking in the fullness that they're intended to, yet having really no correction in their life to think, hey, we gotta get this right. Like that again, I think is just, kind of the domino, the butterfly effect of like what can happen.
Yeah.
So to look at it now from our perspective and think what we're doing has the same impact, but in reverse. If we can impact one person in a positive way and put them on a trajectory to like change their family, first change themselves from the inside out with God. We can change ourselves, but submit, come into alignment, work on yourself, heal, boom. Like, think about that effect.
Yeah.
If we have a bunch of whole people full of light walking around this earth, things are going to be different.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Back to all the way to the beginning. We're like, you think you're right. You're making your own way. Oh, I can figure this out. I'm a trailblazer.
Nobody's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
Nobody's
ever
going to do that.
done what I've done.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Come back in a couple of years.
Like, here we are. And the cycle continues.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we want to talk about all these like generational curses, right? And all these cycles that, us as believers and even non-believers, I hear people who are very in the world, I guess, in culture.
Yeah, doctors even ask questions now, right?
And it's like, wait a minute. If we can't even break that, like, I feel like this earth is longing. I just had this conversation this week. It's just longing for people to be kind. And we've been saying that for years. Generations. We can't even do that. Like, we can't even all come together and agree upon something and just walk in that. Like, and I'm not saying full agreement of like, oh, everybody thinks the same. I'm just saying like, okay, kindness. We all seriously can't just like agree what kindness looks like. Hey, you believe this way, I believe this way. Guess what? I still can be kind. I still can have an open conversation with you. I don't have to hate you leaving the conversation. Right. I sure as heck hope that you're going to challenge my thinking, not because of hate, but to make me better for when I have the next conversation. And you're going to grow me and I'm going to grow you, and we're going to shift perspectives and mindsets, and whatever God is going to do with those seeds in those moments is not up to me. So sure, let's have a conversation. I'll never forget when I was pregnant with Jordan. Mom had just died. So I'm 20, now we're talking about 24-year-old Lindsay, but I'm not giving her any advice other than, do this, do this, do what you did here. You did one thing right. Be kind, right? These Jehovah's Witnesses came to the house every Tuesday. Pretty sure it was Tuesday. It might have been Monday. I think it was Tuesday though. And I just remember being like, okay, if we all can agree, I won't bring up God, you don't sell me something and I make you something every week and we drink coffee and we just enjoy doing life together on this couch.
That was pretty awesome.
Like, that was amazing. I think if that would have continued, you're talking about, you know, bolder Lindsay, stronger Lindsay, whatnot, but having more intentional conversations. But even in that, like, God was still there.
Right.
And he was still working and he was still moving. So there's no, like, denying that. And even to one point when I remember one of them went through a divorce and that was really hard. She came to me. And she had left, like, I don't know what they call it, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but, like, yeah, she came because she knew she wouldn't be judged. And she surrounded herself with only that.
Wow.
And I remember just being like, okay, but I'm not slapping her with Jesus. Not that she knew, but I still was able to pray for her and then be intentional to see her when she was at work and, like, you know, help just fuel the things that were inside of her without just being like, oh, well, you're a sinner. Like,
right.
What? No. And I remember when another couple, her husband got sent for, like, a mission, and she was, like, so terrified about it and was like, will you be praying for me? And I remember being like, do you want me to do it right now? Like, no, just be praying for me. And it was like, okay, great. I can do that. Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And it was just this amazing, like, moment of, like, we don't have to believe the exact same thing.
Right.
I think, too, like, okay, let's pull this one. I played softball most of my life. I remember my dad, he's like, you know what you're going to deal with. I'm like, okay, great. I know what I'm going to deal with in the softball world. What is the typical stigma? And it was like, I still could be friends with these girls no matter their sexual preference. Like, hey, I have a boyfriend. Hey, I'm getting married. Do you want to come to my wedding? Like, and they knew that I accepted them and loved them and I wasn't going to do anything to hurt them, just like they wouldn't do anything to hurt me. And guess what? We can just show compassion and love and have conversations. And yeah, I'm still going to invite you to church. And I think one of them came one time and that was okay. But, I would not let anybody put their mouth on them. If that was not about to happen. My dad was like, we ain't gonna, and nobody did. But it's like, we also wouldn't do that if we brought a single mom in. We also wouldn't do that if we brought a drug addict. Like, it doesn't matter. Compassion is compassion. Kindness is kindness.
Right.
When we are not self-centered, we can operate in that better.
That's good. Good combo.
I love you.
Phenomenal.
Well, that's today's episode because now
Lindsay.
it's getting dark.
Awesome.
And that's 2 in a row that we've done at night now.
Into the night. Well, yeah, it's dark at 5
I know,
o'clock.
this is kind of lame. But yes, thank you for just joining us in this conversation. I hope that it blessed you. I hope that it encouraged you. I hope that it reminded you, if you are in your later 20s or older, it just reminded you to sit with your 20-year-old self or whatever version of yourself that you need to sit with. I recently had the Lord take me back to sitting with Lindsay, 16-year-old Lindsay, just to help with some healing, and just reminding yourself that you can forgive yourself for things, and sitting with yourself in those things is not a bad thing. Remembering and going through what hurt you, what shifted in you, what changed you is not a bad thing. But just let the Lord be the one that puts his hands on it and that he guides you through it. And then from there, it's a healing process. It's a growing process. It's not meant to bring you backwards or to leave you in that. It is meant to grow you, and it's meant to heal you and have you be whole. And so what I loved about this conversation leading up to it was just, one, I know we actually get to sit with 20-year-olds and, we get to sit with these kids, and I'm calling them kids. They know I call them kids, but to have these intentional conversations with them and just continuing to remind ourselves of, where we were at 20 and what we would have longed for. And so I think the biggest thing that if you guys can take away from today is it doesn't even matter how old you are, but if you are struggling to just walk with somebody and you need a mentor, really pray about that. Ask God to illuminate somebody in your life that He has for you. And just please make sure that you are praying into it, that they're praying into it, that they have gentle hands, not just to comfort you, because they need to push you into things too, but the gentle pushes, not the shoves. And make sure that they are somebody that will point you back to Jesus ultimately, not themselves. But I think if we had mentors in our early 20s, that you're talking about a life-changing momentum, really. Because knowing that 34-year-old Tim and Lindsay have who we have as mentors now is life-changing, and it's amazing. And they're always calling us to more and to greater in God, and they're always pointing us back to Jesus, and they're always reminding us of who we are, and not to them, but to God.
Yeah.
And they're always reminding us of the call and the mission and what fuels that, and always claiming and declaring so much greater and so much more over our lives so that we don't keep ourselves so small.
Right.
And they're always having us focus on the wins and the right things that we should be focusing on. And I'm so grateful for that. And they let us walk through things.
Yeah.
They don't tell us, unless it's an absolute, that is a terrible idea. But most of the time it's like, hey, let's weigh them. Let's go through it. Let's walk through it. And then when we walk through it, it's like, hey, this is what we learned. This is what we learned. Okay.
Yeah.
But just be reminded that there are people out there that long to give the next generation something. I believe that that's what God put in all of us, to give something, to hand something off.
Yeah.
And so know that it's going to be hard to find.
I love that, because it's always about pushing forward. I was reminded, right, that the Bible is clear to not look back, like Lot's wife.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying, right? It's okay to remember, and I'm not saying we just can never look back, but
no,
to not want to go back.
No.
And through this conversation, right, same thing with the Israelites. It's you can pass through the Red Sea, get on the other side, and all of a sudden you want to go back. No. So I think it's so important to have people surrounding you, and one, you're growing in your relationship with the Lord, that's pushing you forward.
Yeah.
That is rooting you in today. Do not worry about tomorrow. So we're not future tripping, but we're so intentional with what we have in our hand, and we understand that His mercies are new every day, and it's His goodness that brings us to repentance.
Yeah.
It's the Holy Spirit that picks us up and it turns us around and helps us to walk in a new direction. You're so amazing at that. Always pushing people that greater, from glory to glory, that your past had purpose, but it's propelling you into what is to come. So steward it well, be intentional in what you have, and watch what God can do with a simple thing like obedience or gratitude or thankfulness. Because you sit too long looking back, you turn into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
You get bitter.
Yep.
You get hard. So.
That's right.
I love you. It's good.
Well, thank you guys. We're going to end it right there, because I can't think of something better to say to just end it. But we're just so glad that you guys are in this space with us, and that you allow us to be here. Not that I ever check how many people watch these things, but it still feels so surreal.
Yeah.
And it's just such a gift, and it's an exciting journey.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we hope that the Lord spoke to you,
Yes.
and if He did, it always leads us to action. So maybe it's sending this to a friend, sharing it with somebody who needs this.
Yeah.
I don't want this to just be something we get casual to or common, but it should always be growing us, pushing us forward. And so go pray for somebody, go speak into somebody's life, push them into better, push them into greater, and give them hope.
Yes.
But we love you. We thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next week.